welcome. I know my background might look a little bit funny today, but I'm filming in my car, and the reason is my son decided he didn't want a nap today, and I put him to bed, and for almost like 2 hours, he would not take a nap. Halfway through, I tried to put him back to bed, and he wouldn't do it. So I decided I was over it at home, so I would drive around until he fell asleep, and now I'm stuck in a parking lot. So I thought I would film the controversial parent tag. Now, there might be a few, and I'll explain reasons why we're not going to answer that question, but it's a good reason, okay? Okay, first question is pro-life or pro-choice? Oh, and by the way, I will include any differences of ideas if my wife Jenna has a different decision than what I do, but most of the things were pretty on the same page. So pro-life or pro-choice? Jenna said technically, let me see here, pro-choice is pro-life. But, I mean, I would say I would be considered pro-choice. Obviously, I am all for, pregnancy and birthing babies and everything. But again, it's not my decision what you decide to do with your body. So if you want to have an abortion or go through adoption or birth the child, that is your decision. So I guess it would be pro-choice. I think that's the right answer. So, baby wearing. Yes, I do support baby wearing. I don't think there's anything wrong with putting a baby in a chair, swing, bouncer, whatever. But at the same time, I really do enjoy using wraps and slings, and walking around with the baby. I think that's really great. So I definitely am supportive of either one, to be honest. But yes, I definitely am support of baby wearing. I think it's great. Okay, next is adoption. Not exactly sure if that means if I support adoption, but of course I do. If everything is done properly and it is an actual honest to goodness good adoption, then yes, I do support it. I had a cousin about 6 months ago who did an adoption, and all for good reasons. I mean, I think, whether you're adopted yourself or you are adopting a child, there's always pros and cons to it. I know there's a lot of difficulties within adoption because obviously one of the parents, the bio parents, are losing their child. But at the same time, I think in general, as long as everything goes to order, then I definitely support adoption. Number 5 is interesting, baby ear piercing. I'm assuming it's just ear piercing. Typically, this is for girls. Will you pierce their ears while they're a baby? Or I guess while they're younger? Jen and I both agree, no, we would not. I just don't feel it's necessary to, I guess, put a hole in their body that they didn't consent to. I mean, I can see some of the reasons people say yes because they're young, it heals quickly, they're not going to remember it, and then they don't have to go through that pain later. But at the same time, I did not get my ears pierced until later, and I'm perfectly fine. You can help them to teach responsibility, cleaning, taking care of their ears, and, then what if you don't want it? You shouldn't be forced to do something like that. So we both agree, no to baby ear piercing. Okay, number 6 is breast milk or formula. Obviously, I don't care which one. Feeding is feeding. Fed is fed. That is the phrase. So yes, obviously, I think if you want to breastfeed, that is awesome. It is usually cheaper. There's a lot of pros to it, but at the same time, formula is perfectly fine. Our son was mostly formula fed. I did breastfeed for a short time, but it just didn't work out. And I think that either way is fine. Some women do not want to breastfeed for whatever the reason, mental, physical, they just don't want to. Formula is perfectly fine. It has everything that the child needs. They're going to grow up just fine on formula. So we both agree that both are fine. The next one is about sleep training. The CIO or cry it out method, or it doesn't say, just other things. I think there's like the Ferber method and a few other options which you don't allow them to cry, period. We did use a sort of CIO cried out method with our son, Miko, and for us, that worked. We did try using the gradual, 5 minutes, 7 minute, whatever, and that didn't work for us, and so we decided to do the CIO, and that worked, and only at night, like not during nap times, but he sleeps really well at night and he's been fine. And I think it's really dependent on each baby. Some cry it out works, some it doesn't. Some can't sleep train at all very well. So I think it's across the board. Just try and see what works best for your child and don't think one method is going to work for everyone. All right, spanking. Definitely not. We both agree we do not spank. I don't think that's helpful. I think you can use timeouts or there's other methods that you can use, but actually, like hitting your child is not going to help anything. I know there's a lot of studies proving that it's not a good idea, and if you spank your child, it's not going to ruin them for life, probably. But I would just say we both agree no, no spanking. Well, one thing that we are not going to discuss is circumcision. The reason why I'm not going to discuss that is because we do have a male child who has things that could be circumcised or not. And so I'm not going to tell you yes or no, because if I tell you yes or if I tell you no, then that means you will be aware of what our son's anatomy is, and that is none of anybody's business. Just so privacy reasons for my son, I'm not going to answer that question, but we do have an opinion one way or the other. But yeah, I don't think anyone except, him and his future partner or just himself needs to know that answer. Okay, co-sleeping. I'm not specifically against it. If you do it safely, then that's fine. For us, it does not work because my son cannot sleep well with us. He moves way too much, and we have tried it in the past. And, we tried to let him come sleep with us before, and nobody gets any sleep, mostly him. So it just didn't work out for us. But I know a lot of people are very successful for many, many months or maybe even years with it. And if it works for you, great, as long as you're safe. The next one is a type of schooling, whether you're going to do homeschooling, private schooling, public schooling, charter, whatever, private schools. So for right now, Jenna and I have decided, we think for now, we're probably going to homeschool in the future, just for multiple reasons. If you want to know, I can explain more about that in a different time. We don't mind maybe doing a charter school when he's younger, just for socialization reasons. That's what Jenna said. But I guess it kind of just depends on our financial situation and if we can get him into a good school or not. So, but I would prefer either homeschooling or private schooling, some sort of private if we can get one we like. The next one is related to vaccinations. Yes, we definitely both support vaccinations. Please vaccinate your children. I follow the regular vaccination schedule. If you really want to follow a delayed schedule, I mean, that is your decision. But I think that there are many, many, many reasons that are important to vaccinate. And I know there's some children for medical reasons that cannot vaccinate. That is a totally different story. But if your child is healthy and can have vaccinations, please do. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to discuss it any further. Okay, next one is kind of vague. It just says medications for children. If you mean, do we give them like Tylenol when they're teething or things like that? Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine if you need to. Now, if you mean giving them things like for ADHD medications that are maybe unnecessary or that sort of things that kids really might not need, maybe they can do some sort of therapeutic option, then I would say no. But I think medications for specific reasons are fine. So I guess it depends on each child. I don't support over-medicating children if there's no reason for it. I prefer to try more therapeutic reasons, therapies, anything like that first before you go to medications. Okay, cloth diapering or disposable diapers. We prefer cloth diapering. I would say probably 95 to 99% of the time we cloth diaper. Typically the only time we don't is usually like in the very beginning. I would say the first 1-2 months maybe we use disposable diapers because we didn't have newborn cloth diapers and so they didn't fit our baby. So we did use just disposables at that time. And then also usually if we like go on vacation, typically we'll use disposables. It just kind of depends. If we're visiting a specific family where we can wash, we'll usually bring our cloth diapers with us, but if we can't, then we'll use disposables. So I would say cloth more than disposables, but Again, if you want to use disposables, that is your decision. And the last one, we both weren't really sure about it. It says store-bought or homemade food, and I'm assuming they mean like canned jar food. Jenna and I both just said neither. We prefer to do baby-led weaning, and that's what we decided to do with our son, and we'll probably do that with our second child as well. Like I said, I'm assuming if we had to pick one of them, it'd be more homemade than store-bought. But again, if you don't want to do the baby-led weaning, then I am not going to judge you if you buy store-bought food because, sometimes it's a lot of work and you just don't have time, and I totally get it. I would encourage you to check out baby-led weaning. It's a really good method, and I can make more videos related to that later if you want me to. So those are all of the questions on the controversial parent tag. I'm sure maybe things will change when they're older. We might have more questions related to controversial topics, but let me know. Leave a comment down below, and I will inform you what we think if it's not announcing private things for our children, if you get me. Yeah. Oh, let me know if you want me to expand on any specific topic that came up, like homeschooling or co-sleeping or whatever. I can expand on those and make videos specifically for that topic. So let me know, leave a comment down below if you want that. And I think that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, my little card tag video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!